Hey everyone, welcome to the Married to the Market podcast. I'm Camry Stoffel, wife, mom of 3, salon owner, and full-time realtor with Town & Country Realtors.
And I am Chance Stoffel, husband, father, and mortgage lender with Motto Mortgage Preferred Partners. We are married to each other and we are kind of married to the market too.
Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. This podcast is for content and educational purposes only. We're sharing stories, insights, and opinions from our experiences in the industry.
We also want to disclose that Town & Country Realtors and Motto Mortgage Preferred Partners are partnered companies. And yes, we're legally married, just keeping everything transparent so we can stay compliant.
This podcast is where we get real about marriage, parenting, and real estate. The messy, exciting, sometimes overwhelming, but always meaningful parts of life. If you're building a home, a family, or a future, you're in the right place. Welcome back to another episode of Married to the Market.
Yeah.
Episode number 7. So today's going to be a little bit different of a topic, a little bit deeper, a little bit more personal, but it is September and that is NICU Awareness Month. So NICU is something that a lot of families experience, unfortunately, and it's something that we've experienced ourselves. So we kind of wanted to bring a little bit more awareness to that.
Also, for those that you don't know what NICU is, it's a unit for child delivery that need a little extra care. And we had twin boys that had to spend 16 days in the NICU last November. So that was a big part of our lives during that time. So,
Yeah. Neonatal intensive care unit.
oh, wow.
So, but to start, we've never really dove into our birth story with the twins. So we're going to explain our birth story and explain our experience in the NICU. I guess to start it off, we did have a daughter already. Our daughter was 15 months when we ended up delivering the twins. We actually ended up going to OSU and delivering them. A twin pregnancy is very different compared to a normal pregnancy. We learned very fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't like an emergency, unplanned experience. We kind of checked ourselves in at like 7. And because we weren't like top of the list and urgent, other people got moved ahead of us. So it was 9, 10 o'clock at night before 8.
Yeah.
Really? So our check-in was probably 5.
Our check-in was at 6.
6.
They took us back at 8.
Okay.
We did get induced for that, but I mean, pregnancy-wise, I was at the doctor once a week.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 6 hours every Monday there. I would do 3 different ultrasounds every time. I would have a stress test, and then I would get checked out myself. So I'd always have to like bring work with me, and I'd bring a lunch box, and I was just camped out for the day every time. But
at that point, you were studying to become a real estate agent?
That's right. Yeah. I was studying. So that was a whole can of worms. That was had its own struggles there, but we got through it. Yeah. Lots of different tests and everything. And then when we did end up getting induced, I actually was in active labor for about a week. My body was trying to go into labor. It could tell that, weight was getting too much and that they were ready, although we were only 34 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I could tell my body was trying to go into labor, but it also knew that it wasn't time. So it delayed the labor very long for me. And then once I was able to get in there and get induced, things moved pretty quickly.
Yeah. With our twins, our oldest twin was sizing smaller than the other one. So there was a sense of urgency whenever there was a percentage greater than 20%, I believe it is, and weight and size difference. They kind of stressed that they get the baby out. So we were monitoring that. And our youngest, or I guess our oldest son also had a VSD, which he had a small hole in one of his heart chambers. And that created a sense of urgency to have the delivery. And luckily we were able to do it naturally.
Yeah. We had to get echoes when I was pregnant with them.
Mm-hmm.
And echoes were done on each of the boys. And we did find out that Dawson had a VSD. And so he was going to be delivered first. And a lot of people don't know this about twin deliveries, but they don't just freely move around. Whoever's the lowest one typically stays to be the lowest one, and they're going to be the ones delivered first. And so that's kind of how they always keep track of baby A and baby B. But one thing that we had was we found out that Sutton, baby B, was breech.
Yeah.
And so because he was getting delivered second, they actually had a team there that allowed us to go ahead and deliver naturally.
Hmm.
And that was huge
That was
because
huge.
we really thought we were going to have a C-section, and that was something we really didn't want to have to do.
Yeah. And luckily we discussed this ahead of time and they were comfortable doing so. We had to meet a lot of criteria. I think one of the criteria was that was it their shoulders are wider than the head because
Yeah.
the head would have, got stuck.
Yeah. Like when you deliver, you go head first and it just like it widens
Yeah.
everything. Like it's easier. But when you go feet first, it doesn't allow that to happen. So
Mhm.
then their arms can get stuck up or
Yeah. It's very uncommon
inconvenience.
to deliver breached. So
Yeah.
we had a pretty good team. I think we had 13 doctors in the room whenever Camry delivered.
Yeah.
Each of the boys had their own
Yeah.
cardio
3
doctors.
doctors.
Three, yeah, I don't even know. There was just a lot of
There
people,
was a
but
lot. Yeah. We had to deliver in the OR,
yeah.
which that was new because our first delivery with our daughter was a midwife experience at the hospital. And Chance ended up actually getting to deliver her himself, which was
Mhm.
really cool. So that
Also with a team of doctors.
with a team of
Yeah.
doctors.
Had
Well,
a lot of
no,
help.
actually, they were oldest nurses.
Yeah.
Our
Well, we had the
midwife,
midwife,
um,
but I had like a doctor to myself. I think in case I like fainted, they were there to catch me.
you had a nurse there,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, there was a lot of nurses for that one too, but for the OR was definitely different.
Hmm.
Um, Chance was actually sleeping. I no shame in getting an epidural over here. I was like 100% giving the juice because that stuff hurts. I'm not doing that about it. I tried, not for me. And so I got my epidural. We started at 8 p.m. I ended up pretty much felt to be pushing around 2 a.m. So Chance was like, "Do you mind if I take a nap? I have a headache." So he took a nap on the couch, and I was like, "Whatever. I got my juice, so I'm just gonna take a little nap myself." And anyways, we woke up, and it was time. We knew it was time. The doctors were running in. They're like, "All right," she was like, "Keep your knees together and don't push." And so they were waking Chance up, and they're like, "Get gowned up, put the gown on your beard. We gotta go."
Yeah.
And Chance like slowly leaned up, was stretching and like texting the group chat that babies are on their way. And I think at that point you had looked up and they were like running out of the room with me. And you said something, you're like, "Well, don't have them without me." And she goes, "Get your stuff on and go or you're gonna miss it." And you're like, okay. So you're like quickly
Very
getting up.
eye-opening.
Yeah, you were just waking up too. And so pretty much like you were running after us. And Chance took a picture of us in the hallway, and you could just, they're running down the hallway with my bed, and then they go into the OR and the door's closed.
Mm. Yeah, they had to take her in there and like get her prepped. And I'm just waiting in the hallway, not real sure. She's already gave birth to the kids or what's going on. And they actually invited me into the room. So
Yeah.
got to be there for both of that. What was it like 3:30?
No, it
Was
was
it two
2:27,
when they were born? Okay, 2:27 and like 2:32,
2:30, yeah,
something like that.
31 and
So
32.
yeah, so like 5 minutes apart.
Yeah, that was intense itself. But
Yeah,
so, I mean, delivering babies in general around 34 weeks, your lungs aren't fully developed until around 37 weeks. So we knew that we were going to be in the NICU. We just didn't know how extensive it was going to be.
yeah, and that's not really up to us. It's up to the baby's development once they're here and how they're breathing and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah. And their main concern was, Dawson, he was so much smaller. And so all of our focus was, how's Dawson doing? What's that going to be like? So when I did end up delivering Dawson first, he came out crying, which was great because then his lungs were working. Um, and he actually was okay. Like he was breathing and everything was good. Chance got to end up cutting the cord,
Hmm.
which was a really cool experience. Um, they ended up
And
laying
they cut the one cord. Sorry, on Dawson.
this one,
Yeah.
yeah. They ended up laying Dawson on my shoulder, and I couldn't hold him. I was having to like hold other stuff. So they just kept telling me to like look at him and breathe the next one. I was like, okay. So I was just kind of there. And with delivering a breech baby, there's a lot of different things that could come up too. So we had to have a discussion with our doctor ahead of time about that. But he had mentioned when you do deliver a baby feet first, that there's a chance that their head could get stuck. And so if that were to happen, they were saying, if it takes too long, we do have to get him out quickly. We'll have to cut C-section. And with his body already being delivered out, we'll just stick our hands in and push his head through. So
It's a little graphic.
it's graphic, but that's life, right? So he's like,
Yeah.
but I mean,
That never happened.
it didn't happen. Yeah. I mean, they kind of got close to that point, but they were able to get him out, and
Yeah.
it was a little scary.
It probably wasn't as much time as what we thought, but whenever they were going through the process of him having struggles, like
Yeah.
that was a little alarming. So,
Yeah.
but once he did come out, he was a little in shock and they had to bring him too. And then it was kind of nerve wracking because Cameron and I split up at that point. I went with Dawson. Camry stayed behind to kind of go
I
through.
thought you went with both babies. I never knew that they
Oh,
kept one. And
yeah. Sutton was in the back of the room. They were working on him.
as soon as they did deliver him, Chance didn't get to cut the cord. They ended up just quickly cutting and running.
Mm,
And so we never really got to see Sutton. And then as soon as they did take Sutton, they ended up taking Dawson and took him really quickly too. So
yeah.
then all of a sudden, all the babies were gone, and it
Yep.
was just me.
I was back here for a long time. And
Yeah.
Dawson, like, actually fed from a bottle, was breathing on his own. And then he kind of turned a little bit and needed assistance with breathing and the feeding tube. But
Yeah.
Dawson was the one that we were worried about initially. And he did the best of the two.
He was a stronger one at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like they say, like delivering breech, you don't really, it doesn't shock your whole system to like cry and, start life. So he almost had to be like woken up a little bit to like, get things moving and flowing. And the way that everything happened, I ended up having to relax before I was able to see the boys. So I ended up having to go into a room and like get monitored for 3 hours.
Yeah. Seemed like a long
It was
time.
a long time. Yeah. And I hadn't seen you at this point. You were in the NICU. And
Hmm.
so I was in there just kind of relaxing and trying to relax as much as you can. But they pretty much told me I had to wait 3 hours before I could go anywhere. So
Yeah.
I just remember, because you didn't know anything about me at that point. Nobody knew anything about what was going on with me. I didn't know anything that was going on with the boys. Um, and then all of a sudden, I remember hearing you, and you're like, Camry, Camry. And I could hear you kind of like stomping around the hallway. And I was in like this little like corner with the curtain around me. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I'm in here. And you opened the curtain, and I felt like it was like a movie scene. Like you kind of like ran over, you're like, okay, like, they're in the NICU. And that's when
Hmm.
we kind of finally got to like have an update on each other, which was really nice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. The boys were good. I was concerned about Camry at that point. So
yeah.
went and found you.
Yeah.
And the hospital's really big. So there's the NICU, and then there's also another unit of the NICU that's not like as intensive, more relaxed.
Yeah. I mean, the whole NICU experience in that aspect, they were amazing. They took such great care of the kids, and there was always a nurse on staff 24/7. So after I think a few days, we ended up getting cameras that went on their isolate boxes,
Was it Angel Eye?
Angel Eye,
Yeah.
and we could actually watch them from our phones in case like we weren't able to be in there with them.
At
And
that point, we were at the Ronald McDonald House. We were like 9 hours a day at the hospital. And then the other half, at the Ronald McDonald, transporting back and forth.
yeah,
Visited with some family, had a lot of family support that came up and helped. Um,
yeah. Our daughter, obviously, children under 12 can't go into the NICU. So for us, the Ronald was super helpful that way. Um, so Lone was able to stay at the Ronald House, and we had a few family members that were able to stay there with us and watch her while we were gone. So um, it was amazing. The way that the Ronald supports families is
mhm.
amazing. I never even knew what they did.
Oh, I didn't either. Such a great organization. They provided so much. I mean, we spoke to families that were there for 6 months at a time,
Yeah,
and people had to quit their jobs, to stay with the kids. The husband, wife would work from home, or when I say home, like the couple we met was from Utah. So, but families from all over, they provided great care, and Columbus is known for their level of care. So it was,
yeah, yeah. We got so blessed to be so close to so many good hospitals.
mhm.
But yeah, it is making me cry. But No, yeah, I think just the way that they support families is amazing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, ways to support NICU families. I'm kind of diving into that.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, they had so many volunteers from different local organizations, local bakeries that donated goods. I mean, they would have people come in and cook breakfast, lunch, dinner. I mean, they had snacks available around the clock. People would come in and, provide haircuts. They would have arts and crafts for kids. They had multiple like kids areas. They had a game room in the basement that was provided by the Blue Jackets.
That was cool.
Yeah, they had laundry service there. The Blue Jackets players actually came one day and interacted with the kids, which was really cool.
They brought us tickets if we wanted to go
Yeah,
once, which was really cool.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, doesn't really matter how old you are. There was rooms for every single age for kids. There was like a game room, like video game rooms.
Hmm.
If you had like a teenager, I feel like Lone was a little bit young, but there was a princess room that was really cool for like dressing up and
Yeah,
things like that.
she loved the one room that was like a library, and they had like a kitchen set and like
Yeah, it was a farmer's
a
market.
farmer's market. There was all
Yes,
kinds of different things.
it was so amazing. Um, but yeah, I mean, you stay there for free. You eat for free.
Hmm.
They have every meal there. People always volunteer and cook meals. And even if they say someone didn't pick up a lunch meal, there was always free food in the pantry that you could go and cook something that was
Oh yeah, yeah. We would have Walmart deliveries, like deliver us groceries. We were there for what 16 days.
16
So
days. So,
at that point, our dogs were back at the house. We had people taking care of our dogs. You know, we had the clothes, right? We were seeing clothes washed, but 2 weeks straight. And
well, not the same clothes.
yeah,
We packed accordingly, but like I think we had like 5 outfits each. We
yeah,
just watched
washed them.
constantly. Being in pretty much a hotel room with a toddler,
Hmm.
nighttime wise, that was hard.
Yeah.
But I had like a pumping room. They had a mom's room for pumping, and I could go in there in the middle of the night because at that point, for twins especially,
Oh yeah.
you're breast pumping every 2 hours. So I had like a alarm set every 2 hours throughout the night, even, and I would just go in that room and pump or
Yeah.
try and do it in our room. So, how does NICU life influence your perspective on parenting and life milestones?
I think it just makes you more appreciative of the human body and what it's capable of doing, and what a child actually resembles. The process that you have to go through to you know conceive that child and receive the child. But terrifies me, honestly. I mean, we really tested our luck with 3 kids. Um, so blessed. But
I was going to say the same thing. It makes me really grateful for every milestone.
oh yeah.
It just makes every single thing that you do like a little more precious
Hmm.
too, if you see like where you started.
Yeah, I agree.
What's one piece of advice or insight you would give to someone supporting a NICU family?
Like just be present. It's hard to know what someone wants. I know for us, like when we came home, the meal train is always so important. But I think that the biggest thing, it wouldn't have been possible without somebody obviously caring for our daughter while we
Yeah.
were away. That was huge. Otherwise, we were gonna have to one person go home, another person stay there by themselves. I mean, it'd just be so difficult. So
Yeah. That was the biggest thing is
yeah,
someone to step in and help with Flowen.
yeah.
Because a lot of people, they just want to kind of show up and see the babies,
Mhm.
but that's not, the way to support
Well, nobody saw the babies.
nobody. No, in our situation, nobody
Yeah,
did.
nobody was allowed to. And for us, even if somebody wasn't there to support, like we would split up. Cameron would go there for 4 or 5 hours, and I would go there for 4 or 5 hours. So
Yeah.
we always tried to be there during the shift change to get an update on the kids. And honestly, sometimes we would catch things that the doctors would
They missed.
just miss a little bit, and we would just be like, well, actually, let's take a look at this. So,
Yeah.
but
A couple times they kept asking, like, are mom and dad, are you guys medical? Like, are you guys in the medical field? And I was like, no. But we watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy and
Grey's
we
Anatomy
live
and
on
Google.
ChatGPT. So we were way too aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
But even that Angel Eye video, we would always get on there in the middle of the night and I would call the nurse, like, hey, how's the stats or how's he doing? And it was always helpful. But yeah, I think just being there. So how did having twins challenge or strengthen your teamwork as a couple?
Mhm. I mean, teamwork's the key word, right? Just stepping in where you can. It takes a team. I don't know how somebody could do it by themselves. And
No. especially when you are bringing two in at the same time when you already have one.
Mm-hmm.
There is no option for no team. You just gotta pick up where the other person needs you, and you just do the task. So,
Yeah, I think so.
how did you handle the chaos or sleepless nights with twins? I feel like I'm blur.
I'm very blur. I had a W-2 job at the time, and sleepless nights and trying to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then just carrying that weight, knowing that Camry's at home by herself with the kids. It's very difficult, but handling the chaos is just that you handle it, right? Hopefully, you
You just do
take
it.
time to decompress and seek help from family. I think a lot of our family understood that we needed help, but we're also kind of distancing ourselves from everybody just because of their immune systems being little tiny. I mean, they were 4 or 5 pounds, so we would do like window showings. We did meal trains. I mean, the grandparents, everybody was very helpful with clothing and
Yeah. Our support system's amazing.
yeah,
But yeah, I was the same way, just kind of waking up, pumping, waking up, bottle feeding, changing diapers, and then back to sleep if you can. So
yeah, just preparing. We had a whiteboard, taking notes. We had multiple changing stations, so
yeah,
we weren't waking up the other kids. We had multiple bassinets, so they were separated.
diaper genies. We have multiple diaper genies, so we
Multiple
weren't
diaper
having to go
genies.
into someone's room
Yeah.
and use one.
Hmm.
But just being prepared.
Yeah. Buying a minivan.
We bought a minivan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, real estate. A common financial mistake families make when buying a home. So we're doing a quick topic change, but we do want to touch on real estate.
Financial mistakes when buying a home. I think honestly, just buying too much home. The biggest concern is becoming house poor because you buy more than what you can afford. So just being mindful of the ratios. For example, the front end ratio of housing expense should not exceed 31%. And then the back end, is a little more flexible, but the back end also includes, card payment, student debt, credit card payments, child support, things of that nature. But the big thing is just don't become house poor. So be mindful of what you make and what you can afford and not spending too much on a home. That way you can afford to, invest in other things, invest in your retirement, have quality of life outside of just a house to live in.
Yeah, I second that.
Okay.
I do. That's a really good one. What is one piece of advice you wish someone had given you before starting your career in real estate or lending? I really thought that it was going to take me like a month. Or I told my broker this. I was like, just give me a couple deals to help me with and like see me through the end. And then after that, I'll be good on my own. And he was like, no, every single deal is different.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so true because every single deal has its own issues and own things that you need to navigate. And so you're learning something every single transaction. And people that I talk to that I work with, like agents that have been in the industry for 20 years, they say like, "Oh, I just learned that today."
Mm-hmm.
Or this is the first time I've ever experienced this. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be me in 20 years, still learning."
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me a little nervous, but it's keeps it interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. I think for me, I discovered a podcast early on and I just knew it was going to suck for 2 years. So no matter what I encounter on a daily basis, I was like, in my mind, in 2 years will be better.
You say
So
that a lot.
yeah, so 2 years is the mark, and I'm not very far into it right now, but we'll get there.
Yes.
But
All right. Last question. If you could live in any home style for a year, which would it be and why? That would be a tiny house.
a time, not me. I want my closet to be the size of your house.
Yours would be a mansion.
I want to utilize all the space and I want all the things. I would love to
I
create.
want that for the rest of my life.
I would,
But for a year,
yeah, I wouldn't want a tiny house. What about like a Sprinter van?
I could not at all with all of our
A
children.
living home stuff. We could have a big RV, like
Yeah.
homeschooling, traveling the country,
The school bus.
school bus. So
I could
maybe
do that.
that's what I would want. And that was our plan
That was our plan.
prior to having kids, was to travel for, like a month
We
or so.
had
at
a
a time.
trip planned.
Yeah.
It was in the spring of 2023, and we were planning for it in the fall. I got where we're going to rent from. We are going to trade our vehicle in for the week or whatever, 2 weeks, and get the van that's already done. We're going to travel the country, coast to coast. And we had everything mapped out. And then we found out we were pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And that changed everything.
It did.
But that's okay.
Yeah. If we weren't pregnant, I probably maybe could have quit my job. I don't know. I had PTO at that time, but
You're too stingy to quit your job.
I was too stingy. And you were
I just kind of
having the hair salon,
had the hair
and
salon by myself at that
benefits
point.
are important. Still are.
Yeah. Yeah. You needed to keep those benefits.
Yeah, definitely. Because we knew we were going to try to have kids. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for example, our daughter, I think to have her, it was like $30,000. And
To have the boys,
to have the boys, it was
350.
350, 350,000.
$350,000
Yeah.
because NICU, it changes per day depending on how extensive
Yeah.
their care unit is, but they were $8,000 every day for a while, and then it moved to $5,000 a day, and then to $3,000 a day.
Yeah. And this is not uncommon. I mean, our
No.
boys in reality were cheap for NICU babies. I've heard of people having millions of dollars in expenses.
And honestly, NICU families are so common.
Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah. We know what 3 people that are close to us right now with their children were in the NICU.
Yeah.
So,
And I have friends right now with their kids in the NICU.
yeah.
It's
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I don't think you realize when you hear people say, like, oh, like my child was in the NICU, you're like, oh, that sucks.
You have no
You
idea.
have no idea. Like, what?
Even if you have a kid, you don't know.
No.
And if you don't have a kid, you don't know what having a kid's like. So until you experience it, like, you can't relate to it.
No. You try to and you think you might be able to, but you experience it. And I felt bad myself. I was like, I feel like I didn't support people enough that were in the NICU previously, now that I've experienced it myself. But it's completely life changing.
Yeah, it is.
But, luckily our boys came out the other side and, they're happy and healthy, and we could not be more grateful for that. So very blessed.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good podcast.
I hope so. Well, I hope you guys learned a little bit more about NICU, and that September is NICU Awareness Month. Hopefully you can help support a NICU family that you might know. Well, thank you guys, and then we'll see you guys next week. If you could follow us on Instagram and Facebook, listen to us on Spotify, and watch us on YouTube.
Yep.
We are Married to the Market on social.
Chance.thelender.
And I'm Cameron Stofel.tcrealty.
All right. Thanks, guys.